Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business and let's wake up those football gods here on this Sunday. Program note, today, 4 o'clock. We'll be doing a live stream, and this will be live stream Zoom in bitch call. And I'm not trying to call anybody bitch, but I mean bitch out the Cowboys. Vent your frustrations is what I should say, because I know everybody is a little upset about Amari Cooper. People say that we got fleeced and this is just stupid and the same old Cowboy. You'll be able to put in how you feel about the situation. You'll be able to say what you want to say, and we're going to listen to it, and we're going to live stream it, and I'm going to make some chicken wings, too. We're going to make some chicken wings. So we're going to have some chicken wings. We're going to vent, and I'm going to make them extra hot, too. I'm just going to try and they're going to be firing the whole wings. That's what I'm going to do, because I'm hot. I'm mad. But actually, I'm doing a wait-and-see approach. I'm going to wait and see if anything changes for the Dallas Cowboys. Find out if we are a buyer or seller. If we're just going to say, Dak, we're going to give you less weapons, and we're going to keep everything the same with Kellen Moore's garbage offense, and we're going to handicap you. We're going to do a Tony Romo to you. We'll see if that happens. We're going to see if we do the same thing that we always do in free agency. See, here's the problem with the Dallas Cowboys, okay? Mismanagement is the reason for your woes. In fact, let me go to a philosopher who will kind of explain it a lot better than me. Money is the key to end of your woes, your ups, your downs, your highs, and your lows. Didn't you tell me last time that love bought your clothes? It's like that, and that's the way it is. The philosophy is, of course, from Run DMC. And it's very true. Money is the key to end of your woes. And the problem is if you don't take care of your money can't take care of you. And this in lies the problem for the Cowboys. The reason you have to cut a guy like Amari Cooper is because you've made poor decisions with other amounts of money. And I dare say that part of the problem we do is Stephen Jones is penny pinching. Stephen Jones always feels like, I got a bargain here. Now, here it is. We do finally have a guy that's playing good, Jayron Kearse. Jayron Kearse, you would think would want to come back because he's played safety the best you can say in the last recent memory. Jayron Kearse, after 1 year, thinks he should be getting paid what he is worth. He hopes it's here with the Cowboys, but he understands if it's not, he's got to do the best for himself and his family, as he puts it. So now the Cowboys are in a position of, do we pay him for one good season, a long-term deal, which is actually market value, or do we let him walk? If you let him walk, he signs a big contract. Maybe you get a compensatory pick. Maybe you get a fifth, maybe a sixth, or maybe if he's a really good one, maybe you get a fourth. Or do you pay him? And what happens is, because of past mistakes, we go through and we value pick, bargain basement shop, scratch and dent, and it costs us more money. Let's go ahead because, see, people will say, well, you overpaid the quarterback, even though he's only a $19 million cap hit this year. Here's the problem. 2 years ago, we had $15 million in dead money because of bad contracts. $15 million. Last year, we had $25 million in dead money. $25 million. $25 million. This year already, I want you to take a good look here. Right now, dead money, $17 million. $17 million right now in dead money. We are still paying Jalen Smith $6,800 on the salary cap for this year. Explain to me why the Cowboys felt the need to pay Jalen Smith like he was one of the best linebackers in football after one good year. That, my friends, is still costing us. Now, Amari Cooper, it's another 6. Blake Jarwin, who got a contract, $5.2 million a year. Kind of overpaid for your tight end. Keanu O'Neal, whoa, dude, whoa. Value pick. We signed him and said, hey, let's get that guy. We'll take a safety and we'll make him a linebacker. And so you paid him for 1 year, and you're still paying him this year. And see, we turn around and we look at a guy like Anthony Hitchens, and we say, no, that costs too much. So we're going to go value shopping to replace him. The thing is, we have paid more money in dead money than what it would cost to get good players sometimes. So we'll go through and we'll look at this and we'll say, you know what? Bobby Wagner costs too much money. You know, the deal might cost you $12 million a year, right? And that's very possible. It could be $14 million. But see, when you go through and you start thinking about $17 million right now for dead money, and that could grow, because if you end up releasing or trading Lael Collins, we'll be back over that $25 million. So we are looking at, over the course of the last 3 seasons, $60 million, almost $60 million in dead money because of mistakes that the Cowboys have made. Now, here's the thing with Lael Collins. It's almost funny to me because I hear so many different things, okay? People will say, oh, Lael Collins is $10 million. His salary is $10 million, which is true. Lael Collins' base salary is $10 million. Very, very true. But the problem is, it's not his base salary. You don't go by that. The only thing you really need to know is, what is the cap number? And his cap number, because they have restructured his deal a couple of times, is $15.2 million. That's how much the Dallas Cowboys will subtract from the $208 million for Lael Collins. Now, let's look at this a little deeper. People will say, just cut him. Get rid of him. Here's the problem. Lael Collins, right here, if you just make him a cut before his salary becomes guaranteed, it costs you $13.95 million. You only save $1.3 million. That's it, period. So when people say his salary is $10 million, I'm trying to understand if they actually understand all of the ramifications and all of the insight that goes into this. I don't care about what his salary is. How much is it going to cost me to keep him or to get rid of him? So here's the problem. So they've said to him, you can seek a trade, okay? If he gets a trade before the new league year, guess what? That number doesn't change any. We still have to pay him $13.95 million on the salary cap. We only save 1.3. Now that's part of the 19, that's already been taken out as part of the $19 million. We'd get the 1.3 added, just that'd get us to about 21, but it still doesn't help us. The only thing that helps us is if we do him as a trade post June 1st. We do him as a trade post June 1st, then it's a $10 million savings. $10 million savings, and you only get a $5.2 million hit, thus giving you $10 extra million. If you are going to cut him, if you don't get a trade, here's the best thing you can do for yourself, is you can designate him a post-June 1st cut. Post-June 1st means we're cutting him now, but we are going to do that before his contract becomes guaranteed. But we're going to designate him a post-June 1st, which means it's money in the bank that we can't use until June 1st. That way, you get $10 million of cap relief. 10 million versus 1.3, which gets you to $30 million. That would be the wise thing, but for Lael Collins, they have the relationship. They say, you guys seek a trade for the place that you would want to go. The advantage for the Cowboys, if they can trade him, of course, is you get compensation. And I think this is what it all boils down for the Cowboys is they believe that Will McClay can save them. That Will McClay and what they've been doing drafting-wise over the course of, Will McClay becoming the head of scouting, they've done well in drafting players. I don't think it's been a talent issue per se, getting as far as we need to go. It's more of a letdown here and there. I dare say the problem is free agency with Stephen Jones and managing the money and recognizing who to pay and who not to pay. Because we can go through here, and if we think about DeMarcus Lawrence and the $66 million that he's already been paid, you don't really look at that and say, we really got value for that contract. I think we got actually more out of Amari Cooper than we did out of D-Law's contract. But that's just me. I'm sitting here thinking about 14 sacks for 3 years. That's not worth $66 million. I hate to say that Zeke Elliott's contract, where, his contract is one of the ones that's definitely hurting us. But when you make mistakes like this, when you overpay a running back who's not the same guy, when you overpay a defensive end, then the problem is you must go value shopping. And when you go value shopping, they're only a short-term fix. And when they're a short-term fix, it costs you more money in dead money, and then you got to start over. And so it's kind of an endless loop of problems that the Dallas Cowboys must get out of because we keep doing the same thing. We're still averaging $20+ million a year in dead money for bad contracts. And until the Cowboys get better at realizing the value picks are costing you a fortune, we're going to keep repeating the same thing. Because the reality is, we need a linebacker. We need a great linebacker. And right now, we are spending $9 million for 2 experiments between Keanu Neal and Jalen Smith. Wouldn't it have been better to pay a guy like Bobby Wagner maybe 12 or 14 million, and he could be here for a couple years? So the fallout, of course, continues about the Cowboys getting rid of Amari Cooper yesterday. Jarvis Landry is allowed to try and seek a trade. They've definitely said we're moving on from him, and it's going to get interesting. Tomorrow we will be live streaming starting at 12 o'clock, and we're just going to be going all day long with Free Agent Frenzy to see where people go and so on, because it's going to get crazy. And this is when we'll find out if the Dallas Cowboys are going to just do the same old same thing, or if they're actually going to try and make some moves. For all we know, Randy Gregory, Jayron Kearse, some of these guys, we don't have anybody under contract right now. As much as they say we're close on Michael Gallup and that we having good conversation with Jayron Kearse and Randy Gregory, the reality is, come tomorrow at 12 o'clock, their agents can talk to other people. And the Cowboys could stand to lose quite a few players that they think that they're going to have them back. But on the flip side, if they do lose a Randy Gregory and he signs a big contract, if they do lose a Jayron Kearse and they sign a big contract, then we may get compensatory picks in the future. I'm worried about this season. I feel like this is going to be the season of us trying to get right, to clear off the cap, to set ourselves up for further down the road. I don't know if that's the case or not, but it's beginning to feel that way.
Takes a day off, read it and weep, 3 days away from NFL free agency. The Cowboys agreed to trade Amari Cooper to Cleveland for a couple late-round picks. Now, during his time in Dallas, Cooper ranked top 10 in the NFL in targets, receptions, yards, and touchdowns. Cowboys also allowed offensive lineman Lael Collins to seek a trade as well. Dallas needs cap space, and Collins was scheduled to make over $15 million this season. Dak Prescott saying, really? Now that the Browns have a new number 1 wideout, they gave Jarvis Landry permission to seek a trade. Landry had a career low in catches, yards, and touchdowns last season, missing 5 games due to injury and/or COVID. As we welcome in now senior NFL writer Jeremy Fowler to the program. Jeremy, fantastic to see you. Let's chop it up about NFL free agency. So now Amari Cooper is in Cleveland, which means Jarvis Landry can probably go seek a destination elsewhere, which I'm sure that he'll welcome, and I'm pretty sure there's teams out there who would like to welcome him with open arms. What's the market look like for Landry?
Yeah, Gary, Jarvis Landry will have a strong market, especially if he's released. Teams will not be eager to take that $16.3 million cap hit. They'd prefer not to have to give up a draft pick to inherit that. So if he's released in the next coming days, you're looking at the Patriots are going to be high-end receiver market. Landry could fall somewhere in there. Tennessee Titans are a team that's a piece away. Could be looking for a really good slot receiver. And there are probably 8 to 10 teams that are willing to spend at this position. Got the Lions, the Jets, the Jaguars. But I'm told Landry probably will look for the right fit. He wants to contend, go with a good quarterback. Still a chance he stays in Cleveland because they're trying to work out a potential contract. Maybe they can do either a mini extension or a restructure. So I'm told a return to Cleveland with either Baker Mayfield or whoever the quarterback's going to be there, not off the table.
Man, you say Lions, Jets, and Jaguars. Landry's like, come on, man.
He's like, yeah, stay in Cleveland.
Get me to a winner. Okay, a name we expect to be on the move, of course, as well, is Deshaun Watson after a Texas grand jury declined to indict the Houston quarterback on criminal charges Friday of harassment and sexual assault. Though Watson still faces 22 civil lawsuits, keeping it here on the field in terms of his football future. What teams do you estimate are showing heightened interest at this point?
I mean, I checked in with a source. I was told at least a half dozen teams have inquired already.
Wow.
I was told the market is robust. Rarely do you get a top 3 to 5 quarterback who's in the mix available right now. And so you got to start with the Carolina Panthers. I'm told they are prepared to make among the most aggressive pushes here. They said they're very confident. A source told me that they can get involved here and potentially get that no trade clause waived from Watson. And then you have a lot of teams who are just sort of lurking, maybe not all the way in just yet. You got the Saints, the Seahawks. I was told to watch out for the Cleveland Browns. This is a team that, they conveyed the message of the NFL Combine last week that, hey, look, we're all in on Baker Mayfield, but we're going to kind of poke around in some big fish. You know, if there's somebody available who sort of falls into our lap, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and this may be it. Talked to a couple NFL execs as well. They say Tampa Bay Bucks should be a major threat here.
That's the list of teams that you've kind of floated out there, and we know with the league season starting in 3 days, free agency going on, there's going to be a couple of those sleepers that emerge and sort of surprise us. So Jeremy Fowler will remain on the pulse of those topics, far-reaching and close by. Jeremy.
Obviously a long-time terrific player and has been in Cleveland the last few years. And I will note is now a former teammate of both in college and the pros and best friends with Odell Beckham.
All right, y'all. So that's what we got going on. Deshaun Watson could be traded at any moment. I'm hoping that it's not to the Eagles. That would be the thing that would scare me the most. The Amari Cooper situation, again, the way I'm looking at it is if you do this move and figure out a way to improve the team, if you end up taking this money and you make a play to try and say, we're going to do business different than we've done in the past. If this is going to be, we're doing the Cowboys offense receiver by committee, and you don't do something else to try and shore this up, then of course we've got to be pissed. But if there is actually a plan, and not every plan works, okay? I throw a lot of shit on the wall and see what sticks. Not everything sticks. I hope, I pray that this is a plan to get us better. Right now, it's hard because you get players, you see that play good, you don't want them to go, but sometimes you have to get rid of something you like to get something that's better. And with bad times, when I've gone through bad times in my life and you think that everything is terrible, sometimes you have to go through those bad times to get to the good times. You don't realize it when you're in the middle of it. But in the end, when you look back, you can point to things and say, you know what? That was the thing that made us better. That I had to go through that emotional roller coaster, that disappointment and that doom and gloom to get to the other side. I'm hoping and praying that that's going to be the case for us in the Cowboys. So with that being said, I got some work to do to get started in the workshop. We've already lost an hour because of daylight savings time, and we're going to be doing that live stream at 4 o'clock today. Tomorrow we'll be live streaming starting at 12 o'clock, keeping up with all the free agency news. And you know how we roll.
Our coach here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the show for the Sports Report.